Why Britain never tried to retake America after the Revolutionary War. Britain didn't just lose the American colonies in 1783, it signed a treaty, packed up its soldiers and left. But what followed wasn't peace, at least not in the way you might expect. In the years after independence, British troops were still stationed along the frontier, their navy still controlled the Atlantic, their officials still watched the new United States with suspicion from Canada and the Caribbean, and at several points, tensions between the two nearly turned back into open war. Because losing a colony was one thing, losing one of the largest and most valuable territories in the empire, and then never attempting to take it back, was something else entirely. So what changed between the day Britain left and the decades that followed when it finally had the strength to return? Why, even when the two nations fought again, did Britain never try to reclaim what it had just lost? Well, here's the story. The War That Didn't End in America, 1783. By the time Britain formally recognised American independence in 1783, the war it had been fighting for 8 years had already stopped being about America. What began in 1775 as a colonial rebellion along the eastern seaboard had, within a few years, turned into something far more dangerous, a global conflict involving most of Europe's major naval powers. You see, in 1778, France entered the war on the side of the American rebels. Spain followed in 1779, hoping to recover territories it had lost to Britain in earlier wars. Then in 1780, the Dutch Republic joined the fight after tensions with Britain escalated into open conflict. Suddenly, British forces weren't just dealing with uprisings in Massachusetts or Virginia, they were defending trade routes in the Atlantic, protecting sugar islands in the Caribbean, guarding outposts in West Africa, and reinforcing positions in India. At one point in 1779, France and Spain even assembled a joint fleet in preparation for a potential invasion of Britain itself, a prospect that forced the Royal Navy to remain close to home rather than sailing freely across the Atlantic. British military planners now had to divide their ships, soldiers and supplies across multiple continents, each with its own risks and priorities. Yorktown, in 1781, where a British army surrendered to American and French forces, became the most famous defeat of the war. Yet from London's perspective, it was only one of several crises unfolding at the same time. British convoys were being attacked in European waters, Caribbean possessions were under threat, and global shipping lanes required constant patrol. By the time peace negotiations began, Britain's military commitment stretched far beyond North America, and its resources were already being pulled in several directions at once. The end of the war in America did not mean the end of Britain's problems. It simply meant one front had closed while many others remained wide open. What came next was the part that would make any thought of another Atlantic campaign far harder to justify, the cost of keeping everything else together.